Hey, welcome back. So I wanted to show you a little video reminder of what the trees look like before we have Kane and his crew from Boozer's Tree Service come and remove them. We made this decision because we were looking at the trees and we're like, oh my goodness, it is really close to the house. Like, oh, and there were many of them. I believe we had a total of 14 removed, and they were real big trees, and I guarantee they're old. I'm not even sure how old they are, but there was a big oak tree by our garage, and then we had some pines and some gum trees, sweet gum trees. This one is the oak, and there's a broken branch laying above our cars on top of other branches, so we knew there was problems with the tree, and so we definitely needed to get them removed. You can see it was just a massive tree. So we put an X on the ones we wanted gone, and we had a storm about a couple of days before Kane and his crew came in, and it rained pretty good. And it was funny because we had a tropical storm a few days before that, and it like barely rained at all. And it did it pretty steady though for a few days or a couple of days. And then this one, it was like one day and it just came down and there were streams everywhere. And when that happened, we were kind of more worried about where the water was going and just kind of paying attention to that. And then the very next day, my husband gets up and he went outside. He took the poodle outside to go potty and realized there was a branch laying next to the garage. And he was like, babe, I got some bad news, but it's also good news because it didn't hit the house, but there's a branch. And I was like, what? So I went out and got some video for you to show you just how rotten these trees are. They're just coming down. This was on the opposite side of the house, and it came out of a sweet gum tree, and it was just rotten. You go to pick parts of them up and they just kind of come apart. They crumble in your hand. It's very strange. I don't know what causes it. I'm sure I could Google it. I'm sure Google would tell me something. But maybe the moisture, I don't really know. But they definitely are rotten trees, and they were very close to the house. So we were very happy that we had already scheduled these guys to come, especially after seeing everything coming down out of the trees. We were like, oh no, with leaves still on them. It was very strange. So the fact that they're so crumbly and rotten, but yet still have beautiful green leaves, it's very strange. But nonetheless, they had to go. And so Boozer's Tree Service showed up and they started working and started taking down the trees. They were so respectful and they're so good at their job. I have seen those videos on YouTube of people taking down trees, and everybody has a good laugh at them. It scares me to pieces because like a tree will land on a house or a vehicle, or they rip their bumper off trying to pull the tree out, or whatever they're doing. These guys did everything the way they were supposed to, and this is how a tree is supposed to be taken down, people, okay? No, you can do what you want on your own property. I don't really care, but as long as you're safe. But this young man was taking down a tree that didn't have any leaves, and that's why we wanted that one gone. We knew it was dead. But when this thing falls, oh my goodness. And if I would have left the audio in, you would have heard my reaction, but I don't have proper mics for that, and so it's just echoey and awful. And so that's why I do voiceovers, is because I have the mic for that, and eventually plan on having other mics. But for now, you'll just have to take my word. I was very surprised when this tree fell. I was like, what? This is crazy. So it's fixing to go down here pretty soon. It just amazes me how comfortable they are taking down these trees, because it scared the crap out of me. I was like, oh, that's scary. But anyways, probably because I would be a total newbie. They've been doing this for a while. But look at this. It shattered. The tree came apart in multiple areas. That thing was really, really rotten and very dead. So good thing that one's gone. Oops, that was my phone. Anyways, so all right, I got that put on vibrate, so hopefully it won't make any noises. This tree right here is one of them that's pretty close to the house. They have some kind of rope up there, and it's tethered to another tree, and they got the Kubota ready to pull it away from the house as they drop it. I was really truly amazed at all of this. It was quite impressive to watch all of this. They are very good at what they do. So if you are in the Columbia surrounding areas, I would say look up Boozer's Tree Service. They're very good. Now, nothing is ever going to be really cheap unless, well, if you find something really cheap, it's probably not going to be that good. I'm just saying. I'm just putting that out there, okay? These guys did a great job, and they are worth every penny. They removed all of this from our yard. The only thing that was left behind was the mulch. I guess it looked like mulch. It's pretty much mulch from the stump grinder, because they actually brought this stump grinder in and completely took out the stumps. So we had nothing left behind except for like the mulch from this. And it was pretty loud. This machine is so loud. I was like, oh my goodness, but really, really cool. It just ate up those stumps. And you know, stumps they're a nightmare. I remember whenever I was young, I think it was at my grandfather's house, you know, our parents would be like, oh, be careful, there's a stump over there. Well, it was because, you know, I mean, how are you going to get the dang thing out? They're huge, they have roots coming from them all over the place. Well, this little machine right here just ate all that up. It was very cool. So just know they do have these things now. I don't know how long they've had them, but they're very cool. I don't know where I've been, maybe under a rock, I don't know, but very cool. And I feel like it's the dreams of little boys, you know, to have these very cool toys. This is a remote controlled machine, and this guy is just controlling the whole thing, getting rid of these stumps with a remote control. And they also had a man lift that was also remote controlled. So it's like grown man's toys, but they're very cool. And I'm a mom of boys, so that's why I guess it made me think of that, but it was kind of funny. So this is what's left of that oak. And when this thing fell, it shook the ground. I could feel the porch shake. It was a very loud thud. This thing was a massive tree. So, if that thing would have fallen on our house, I don't know what kind of cost that would have been to get our house fixed, or if we would have even had a house after that. I don't know. And if it fell on a person or a vehicle, that would be it, you know? It was a very heavy, very big tree, but oak, you know, oak is a hard wood. So it makes sense that it would be so heavy. But they know what they're doing here, and the guy who's using the chainsaw, he is so comfortable doing all this, not at all scared or really looking up. Like, I would be terrified, and he just did it with just such ease. So kudos to him for being so brave, because I was like, oh my goodness, that is just a dangerous job. But they know what they're doing, and I guess that helps. So I know it seems like I'm standing real close to them, but I was never real close to them while they were working. I tried to stay as far back as possible and just zoomed the camera in to try to get a good look at what they were doing. And they, you know, I don't want to make them feel like, oh, where are the homeowners at? You know, we don't want to drop a tree on their head. So I stayed as far back as possible, and just wanted to get all of this on film so we could show our family and our friends how all of this was removed. It was quite incredible. And this thing right here, I got a front view of it, which I thought was really cool. There's like this little thing on the back. I might have already said this, but there's this thing on the back, like a little blade. And as he removes the stump, he comes forward and it pushes all of that mulch from the stump into a hole and just covers it up. It's very cool. It's a very cool machine. I think it would be fun to run that one, not so much the chainsaw and being that close to the tree. Like this stump grinder would be fun to play with. I think the man lift would be fun too, because it is also remote controlled. That means I wouldn't have to be close. Now, climbing up in the man lift would not be my favorite, but very cool nonetheless. And once that stump is all gone, it is literally like it's just ground. It is very cool. Very neat little machine. And it was spitting stuff everywhere. And these guys were so good. They went as far as blowing off the roof of our house, our front porch. Like, they cleaned everything. I kid you not. So just so you know, there are people out there who care about their job and what they're doing. And that is a good thing. This stump removal right here was really cool. He cut it off, and I have a couple of pine cookies in the garage, and the cuts are absolutely terrible, and they're nowhere near the size of this stump. And whenever they lift that stump off, you will see he did such a good job. I was pretty impressed. I think they're amazing, and I hope that they get so much business that they just are busy all the time, because they're amazing. Look at that. Wow. Wow. And so here you go. It's all done. Everything looks great. I'm going to show you all the areas where we had trees removed, and what is left of them is pretty much nothing. And then whenever we go to redo our front yard, we'll take you guys along and show you what we're going to do. It probably won't be for a while, because it's going to be expensive and you kind of have to have the money to do those kinds of things. But we do have plans for our front yard just to make it pretty the way we want it. And I'm excited. I'm very excited. And now that the dangers of the trees hanging over our house are gone, we feel a lot more comfortable. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate you, and I'll see you next time.